especially the call to minister to your people in the diocese, especially to families and children. Help us and all the catechetical leaders, catechists, and those who serve them to do their best to touch the lives of the children, of the families, to help them have an encounter with your Son, Jesus. And Lord, as we prepare during this Advent season for the birth of your Son, Jesus, we ask you to touch us in a special way, to be open to receiving Jesus in our hearts, in our minds, and in our souls. And we also ask Mary on this day of Our Lady of Loretto to pray for all of us and to always guide us to her Son. Our Lady of Loretto, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Welcome again. It's good to see all of you. This is the Queen's Deanery 10. And we've been holding these meetings to touch base with all of you, all the catechetical leaders, to see how you're doing, to be able to support you more than anything, and also to give you some updates on things that are happening here in the Secretariat for Evangelization and Catechesis. It's a more personal way of reaching out to you. And since we do have access to this technology, we're trying to take advantage of it as much as possible. So welcome again. What I'd like to do first is ask my colleagues to give a little update on important things that are coming up or that are happening in their particular areas of ministry. And then after that, we'll have time to hear from all of you to see how things are going in your programs and what are the good news that you have to share. So for my colleagues, who would like to go first?
I'll go first, Nelsa. So good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. First of all, as you know, the Family Catechesis program that is mandated by the bishop is still mandated even in this time of pandemic. So we have 3 training sessions that are all on our YouTube channel for parishes that are using RCL Benzinger's Family Life program in grades 5 through 8. You can find the training session that was provided by RCL on our page, on our channel. If you are using Loyola Press's Growing with God, Matt put up 2 training sessions, and he provided 2 training sessions for us, and you can also watch that on our YouTube channel as well. It's best if you have the material with you to go over what does the Family Life program and the Growing with God program have to offer for your families in the Religious Ed program. And also in these training sessions, they go in depth into how you can use those materials remotely for your families. The other is that last week we released our virtual Advent reflection, and we have at least over 700 views. So it's great, but we always want more. So what I'm going to do in the channel is I'm going to share the link to that celebration, and you can share it with your families, your parish families, and also your catechists as well. Provide for them an opportunity for them to prepare for the season of Christmas. And I don't believe, is Lucia on this call, Nelsa? I didn't see her. I just want to.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay, so I'm not going to mention youth date. That's yours. Okay.
Just a question. Lucy mentioned you can see my desktop. Is that still happening? Is my desktop visible, Lucy? Oh, okay. All right, great. All right, so thank you for that update, Christian. Lucia, would you like to give
Yeah.
you an update?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm just giving a friendly reminder. I'm not sure if you guys all had the opportunity to watch our Brooklyn Queens Catholic Youth Day on our YouTube channel. Unfortunately, the day of, we had some complications with technology, but it is up on the site. If you're interested in sharing it with your youth minister, your families, please do. We also sent out a small group guide that will go with it. And that is my main announcement. I hope you're all doing well.
Thank you. Okay, is Joanne here with us? If she is, Joanne, if you'd like to give an update.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. We're just right now, just a brief update is that if you do watch the Advent reflection, we're offering LLF credit for it, but you need to fill out the survey the link is there when you go to the YouTube video and just answer the applicable questions, meaning, if you listen to it in English, then you can answer those questions. If you listen to it in another language, obviously that doesn't apply. We're very thrilled that we have over 700 views, as Christian mentioned, and even views outside of the country. So you can say that's, an international event, so to speak. Update on the right of election. So we're hoping to have the right of election for the catechumens only, which would be on that first Sunday of Lent. We're hoping to have one in Brooklyn and one in Queens. Now, we're on a day-to-day basis here, as you probably can tell, and so we don't know what's going to happen with that, which is why I haven't sent anything out yet. Normally, I would have sent something out already. I'm hoping to have more of an idea of what we're looking to do by next week. In any case, the people that really should be coming to the right of election, as you know, per Bishop DiMarzio's intentions and desires, is that it should be someone who has completed a full liturgical year, and not someone who just started with you in August and then, is going to be presented to the bishop in February. That's not a full liturgical year, and they should actually experience a full liturgical year in the church. Granted, each case and each person is a discernment process. So obviously, if you have someone who's been coming to church and they just haven't gotten any of the sacraments, that's a little bit different, right? We're talking about people who know nothing of the Catholic Church and just heard about it perhaps, and then, came to the church and wanted to inquire more, and they became then part of the RCIA journey. So this is what we're hoping for. It shouldn't be a large number of people this year. It's really, the large number goes every other year if we're following what Bishop DiMarzio initiated for us in our diocese. But we'll see how that goes. I'm just asking for a lot of patience. It may be something that it'll be a very short turnaround. Either it'll be a quick green light, we're going forward, or it'll be, complete halting of everything until further notice. The important thing is that if we go ahead and do the right of election, it will only be the catechumen and potentially the coordinator with them. No one else will be able to attend, and that is for us to be safe, to follow the safety protocols, to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to, attend, that needs to attend, and then safely leave the celebration. Again, we don't know what it's look like. We've never experienced anything like this, not even in neighboring dioceses. And so we've all been trying to keep in contact with each other as to what everyone else is doing, just so that we can use the best practices for it. So if anything, you will eventually receive an electronic link to fill out the form online through Microsoft Forms, which is very easy to use. And you'll see that if you fill out the survey for the Advent Reflection. And then we'll get to see where we're at with everything. So we just appreciate your patience. And if you could convey that to your RCA coordinator, that would be great. If you're the RCA coordinator, which I know some of you wear many hats, from DRE, catechist, RCA coordinator, youth minister, all the rest, well then, again, just a little bit more of patience with us with that. We're hoping to know something before the Christmas break. So apart from that, we continue to encourage people who want to be leaders, in the church, to go to the Holy Spirit Institute. We encourage them to fill out the application online. You can go to bqonlineformation.org. Obviously, it's really important to have a conversation with the pastor before you do that. This way, everyone can discern the proper path for the person, and they're also their future role at the parish upon completing the 2-year program. Apart from that, we just want to thank you as a staff. We're praying for you all. We know it's been an overwhelming time, but we encourage you to hold on to the spirit of, of hope and of peace. And as we approach Gaudete Sunday, the spirit of joy. And thank you for all that work that you're doing. We thank your catechists on behalf of the whole staff. We're grateful for everything that you're doing, and know that we continue to pray for you and may you pray for us. And we are continuously available to you in any way that we can assist you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanne, for the updates. I don't know, Christine, are you with us? Do you have any updates regarding the iPads?
There is no update regarding the iPad. As soon as I find out what parishes have been approved and they're being sent, I send them an email and let them know that they're being shipped. Again, nothing will be sent out unless subscriptions are paid. So if you are absolutely sure that the subscriptions for your catechists have been paid, you can send me an email and I'll have them search out the names of your catechists. I'm hoping that the parishes and the catechists will, do their part so that they can get those devices as soon as possible. But until they're paid, I can do.
Okay, thank you. And from my perspective, I just want to remind all of you, if you have not yet completed the current catechist report that's on the diocesan portal, please do so by the end of the week. It was due at the end of October. There's still a handful of parishes, about 15, that have not completed the report. So those of you that are here and that have completed it, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. And just another reminder that the child lures presentations need to be offered virtually before February. That way you can the child lures presentation compliance report that's also found on the diocesan portal. And any questions you have regarding that particular report should be addressed to Marianne Behan in the Office of Safe Environment. She's the person that relates directly to child lures. Then as a reminder, tomorrow, Friday, December 11th at 1 o'clock, the Secretariat is having a meeting led by Father Joseph Gibino and Dr. Tom Chidzutko from the Superintendent of Schools. All of you should have received an invitation by via Outlook some weeks ago. So it would be important for all of you to participate. I believe that it has to do with evaluating how well we've been doing as a diocese, helping children encounter Christ. It's a collaborative effort. Father Joe has been working very closely with Dr. Chetsutko, and it's important that all of us participate in order to listen to their report, see what their thoughts are, and hopefully that will help us also to learn how to collaborate, be more collaborative with our academies, if your parish is associated with an academy, and just in general with the staff in your parish, with our staff. We're all one church, and we all should be able to work together and to assist each other, and there should be no competition because the goal is the same, to take people to an encounter with Jesus Christ. So that's my update. And now I'd like to hear from all of you. I'm having a little difficulty in my connection today. So if when you speak, when you share, if you could give your name and your parish, so that would be very helpful for me. So I'd like to hear from you. What are your good news, your high points? What is going really well that you would like to share?
Okay, I'm up. No. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm on a delay because I look like a ventriloquist. And my name is Anne Marie Green, and I'm from St. Francis de Sales in Belle Harbor. And we're doing all right, using a combination of Zoom meeting and Sadlier. We have been bringing different groups into the church for meetings and proximate preps. We're actually going through with our 4th grade Living Nativity play on this Wednesday that will be live streamed to the parish. So we're doing okay. These times are very difficult for our young families, especially the ones we deal with because they're in public school. Not as difficult for the academy families who happen to be in 5 days a week. So we're doing the best we can. I have wonderful catechists who are engaged and happy to be there. And it seems like the children that they have been given in class for the most part do show up. We have assignments that are handed in. I can't honestly say that they use the portal all that much. A lot of assignments are done and submitted through an email, through the teacher's email rather than the portal. But it seems to be working for us. No complaints.
Anne Marie, which publisher are you using? Is it Sadlier or the My Catholic Faith Delivered?
No,
when you say portal, what are you referring to?
So we're using Sadlier. And then we were a pilot program, so we've always used My Catholic Faith Delivered. But we've had an increase in the enrollment of the My Catholic Faith Delivered families because that was our totally remote option that we were able to give them, as opposed to calling ourselves the blended in hopes that we, maybe would come back on the plant. But the portal that I was referring to was the Sadlier portal, the student portal, the parent portal. My teachers, between Zoom and the family emails, keep in communication that way more so than the portal itself.
Okay, thank you. All right, so it's good to hear what's happening. Your catechists are doing well. That's wonderful. So with your nativity, it's going to be live streamed. How is that going to function?
So we've had a lot of luck here at St. Francis de Sales in live streaming our daily mass and live streaming one mass on Sunday. through the Facebook page of the church. And we have a committee of live streamers. And we've done this living nativity for the last 5 years. And the church is only going to be open to the 4th graders and their families. And we're going ahead. We're not doing it at a mass because that would create too much of a crowd for the church to handle. Unfortunately, our church is at maximum capacity with social distancing at 25%. So it'll be live streamed. We put it on our Facebook page for the families of the parish to please join us. And yeah, there's no speaking parts at all. So.
Okay, that's great that you can provide that tradition. That's great. I'd like to hear from someone else. What's the good news or what's the challenge? We'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me. This is Bridget Murphy from St. Rose. Okay.
Yes, Bridget.
Again, I think I'm on a delay and it throws me off.
Right.
We have had success with Christ in Us. That's the Sadlier program for grades K through 6. My teachers are happy with it. The parents find it easy to use. Our main problem with the younger grades is they're sporadic in attendance. Okay, some Sundays they're there, because we do our meetings at 9:15 on Sunday morning. That's when we've always met. But the parents are good about making up the work with the younger children. Our issue is with Sadlier Connect for grades 7 and 8. We're having a very difficult time with it. It's not a simple matter where the children can fill out the work in the online textbook and just submit it to the teacher. It requires a snipping tool and cut and paste and just many things that the children don't know how to do and the parents are having a difficult time showing them. So our solution has been that the parents take a picture of the completed work, send it to my email at St. Rose, and I direct it to the teacher until we can all figure out an easier way to do this. And that's where we are.
Thank God for technology.
Oh.
Take those pictures.
Yeah.
That's great. And how creative that you didn't let the roadblock, just paralyze your program. You thought of some way to resolve that situation. Excellent.
Thank you.
Who else would like to share with us? Any particular challenges that any of you have reached? I mean, sharing these good news and challenges are helpful because we learn from one another.
Some of our challenge has been making sure that a parent is in the room with the children or is easily available, because I'm having trouble understanding how I can present child laws. Some of our parents, especially of the older children, look at this time of religious ed that the parents go off and do their own thing. So I can't convince them of the importance of them being there. So that is an issue. We've also had an issue with some of our teenagers. They sign in, but don't put their camera on. So I have no idea if they're there or not there, and then they don't respond when they're asked a question. So a lot of my follow-up phone calls on Tuesday and Wednesdays are to parents saying, please, please, you have to make sure that the camera is on. We need to be able to see your child. And they shouldn't be laying in bed, nor should they be eating breakfast. It's a serious program. So we are having a few issues with the teens on that one.
Lucy, are you still here with us? Maybe you have some suggestions for our directors regarding the older children that are in preparing for confirmation? Okay, I guess we lost her. Anyone else of my colleagues that would like to give some feedback on that difficulty?
I have a suggestion. These kids they're old enough for them to know what what are the etiquettes of of Zoom calls. I mean, they've been in the schools, in the public schools, and the public schools have even stricter guidelines, that they need to have their cameras on. So if you just simply reiterate to them, it's the same thing as in school,
Right.
That you need to have your camera on, and if your camera is not on, therefore you're not getting credit.
Well, that's
It's
what we
considered
told them. Right.
it's considered an absence.
An
And
absence.
you just and the thing is always that if you have an absence guideline policy with your program, the number of absences equals a suspension in the program for participation in the program, then so be it. But the thing is, though, is they're not babies anymore. Don't baby them. And it doesn't sound like you guys are, that you are, but just simply come down with a hammer and say, this is what your expectations. And then even also to the parents as well, if this is serious, just like any form of education, then you need to take a much more active role and don't play games, plain and simple. I'm going to my wife is a public school teacher. She made like this nice little PDF file on etiquette. I'm going to actually share it with you all, so you could actually give it to your parents as well. This is what you're expected. Now again, she's a second grade teacher, so there are a lot of pictures and stuff like that, but it works for all grade levels. So I'm going to put this in the chat. So if it's not up right now, it's going to be up after the meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. You make an excellent point that we shouldn't dumb down our expectations. Parents go out of their way when it was possible to go to karate, swimming, sports, whatever. They always met all the requirements. So why not for the church, right? So great suggestions, recommendations, Christian. Anybody else like to share with us? Please feel free. We'd like to hear from all of you if possible.
Just so you know, as we have these deanery meetings, we've heard similar challenges from the DREs regarding the kids and what they're doing with their camera on or off. So just be encouraged to know that you're not the only ones who are going through this, but also that we feel your pain in that sense. And so I know Christian had shared that those kind of things early on when we were visiting parishes. So I'm glad that he's going to be able to share it again, and hopefully the kids will be attentive to that, because this isn't the only thing they're doing virtually. Many of them are going to school virtually. I can't imagine that their teachers are putting up with some of this stuff. So just know that just persevere with it, and we understand. And they're being taught some lessons there too, of how to be. I don't know. I know they're young, but some of these kids that have so much stuff going on with virtual and everything almost don't even know how to communicate anymore because they're so used to using technology. But these are life lessons that they need, and you can't read that in a book. It's something that you learn, in a setting like this or in a face-to-face classroom setting.
I think something that also helps, and this is all the grade levels, is if all the catechists, when they meet with their groups during the virtual meetings, that they use the time not necessarily just to go over a lesson or to teach a lesson. These meetings, virtual meetings, are meant to be a time to break open the word or get to make the lesson more real, have it speak to the children, and taking into account, of course, their age groups. So this is a very good opportunity to have them share their faith, have the catechists also witness to them, talk about, actual things that matter to them, make the topic alive so that they can be more invested in the conversation and in the sharing. And I think if the virtual meetings are made more relevant in that sense, then they will be more willing to participate instead of just being inactive and just a virtual presence that doesn't communicate with the rest of the group. And that takes a lot of planning and creativity. So I would recommend and encourage all of you to give that message to your catechist, to use the time with the children more for faith sharing and witnessing and talking about the topics than just teaching and reviewing.
I think Sister Maureen Olmeyer from St. Camilla St. Virgilius. I know we're finding with our older children exactly what you're saying. They're very inattentive. They're on and off with their picture. Okay. We've had some instances where they think they're clowns, you know, they'll put on a mask. These are types of some of the things that we're dealing with the older children. And I do keep on top of that by contacting their parents, putting a funny name for themselves. You know, I had one child signed in as Poop. I called his parents and asked, I said to them, I didn't realize you named one of your children Poop. I know the parent, and, they couldn't believe it. But they're extremely restless. And I have two members of my family who are teaching in the public school system, and one in our particular area. And the expectations of the teachers, what they're allowed to do according to their regulations, is very, very limited, you know. And if a child turns off their camera, the teacher can't do anything about it. That's why I'm surprised to hear in some other districts that they're able to. I don't know whether it's a local thing, and it does impact on the difficulty that we're having with the older children. I appreciate some of the suggestions that were made. We are taking them to task on it, you know, taking a hard line. But I question really how much of the faith is really being communicated and accepted, you know. The other issue, trying to encourage them to attend Mass. You know, they can go to play soccer, they can go to play basketball, you know, but they can't come out to go to church. And it's problematic, you know, and we're working on it, but it's a hard line. It's a difficult task.
It is. And I think across the board, everyone struggles with that one, with the requirement to attend Mass. But we can only, plant the seeds and hope, that they start to respond. And it's really the parents that have to set the tone.
Exactly. And the parents are not there while the upper grade children are being, taught, the encounter with their catechist. The parents aren't there. I can see them. I come in on in the meetings, you know, I can see the parents in the background, in the kitchen, you know, wherever. So it's, how do we make it more of a cohesive experience?
Mm-hmm. Have any of you met with the parents, either virtually or in the church, in a small meeting with parents? I mean, that's still up to now. It can be possible to inside the church, keeping social distancing or a virtual meeting, and help parents also with their faith, their growth, somehow minister to them, a little prayer service. I mean, we really have to be extra creative, I think, in helping parents have their own God moments and encounters with Jesus.
Yes. So since we haven't been able to meet anywhere, I have been using church as our meeting space, keeping to the maximum number of people, or usually it's well under. But I have brought the 7th grade in for approximate prep already. I have brought the 2nd grade in for an introduction to, here's the church, you'll be making your sacraments. I think what we're missing from the community of being able to meet in class, you have to sort of make up by bringing them back into the physical building of church. Our issue here at St. Francis is, first of all, a lot of people know that the bishop doesn't mandate that there's no obligation to go to Mass on Sunday. We have a wonderful 10 o'clock Mass that you can sit in your pajamas in your kitchen and open up and have gone to Mass. And our space is limited. We found that we were inviting our families back and then closing the door in their face. So we have some challenges to just in the numbers and the physicalness, but I have been trying to use church as my meeting place. Like, just because we're meeting virtually, you're still part of the 3rd grade or the 4th grade. Seem to be very appreciative of that, and they've been staying. So the children will sit up in the front of the church and the parents will sit in the back. And so they were part of the approximate prep for confirmation. They were part of the proximate prep for reconciliation. And it seems to be like that makes them feel a little more connection. They get to see the teachers physically, and that's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Some other DREs have shared that though it isn't mandatory to go to Mass, of course you're encouraging them, but with the live streaming of the Masses, some DREs have asked the children to write a little paragraph about what the homily is, or something to show that they did pray the Mass with their family through the live stream. So that could be a little something extra that could be required of them that will show how it's not possible sometimes to actually go physically to Mass for health reasons, who knows, or what other reasons there could be, but there's no real excuse to not watch it live streamed or watch the recording on Facebook. There's so many things out there that would make it possible to participate in the Mass.
It's Maureen from Blessed Trinity.
Hi, Maureen.
What I actually have my families doing this year is we have 2 new priests to our parish. So for kindergarten to 3rd grade, they either go to Mass or they watch it virtually. The children are asked to send an email to me saying what Mass they went to and the name of the priest and the color vestments that they wore. This way they can hopefully learn the different color vestments for the liturgical year. And 4th through 8th grade, they have to also say who the priest was when they went and write 1 or 2 sentences about what they themselves got out of the gospel. Not what their parents got, but what they got out of the gospel. And it's been very interesting to read what they've been sending. We told them straight out it's a requirement to attend Mass on Sundays and holy days.
Great. Very creative.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to share something? Okay, well, I really appreciate you sharing the challenges what's working, those best practices for your particular situation. It really helps. It helps me to know what's happening on the local level. And also, I'm sure all of you present today are being helped by listening to what's working in the different parishes. It's important, especially always, but especially during this difficult time of the pandemic, not to feel isolated. We are all here for you. I know all of my colleagues, Father Gibino and the Secretariat, we're here to help you, to support you. And all the directors of religious education, coordinators, I encourage you to, whether in your deanery or from someone else that you know that is ministering in another parish, it's important to have a group that you could share with, pray with, and help each other, be a support always, and especially during this difficult time. Jesus sent the disciples out 2 by 2. He didn't send them one. It's always good to at least one other person so that you don't feel alone and unsupported. So, yeah.
Would you
No,
by any chance know how it's looking for us to return to the buildings in January, or is that not your?
Well, I don't have any specific information other than watching the news. It seems that things are really going to take go up, the numbers of infections, especially, I think we're in the tail end of the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. It's the 2 weeks, they say, where people start showing symptoms. Here in New York City, the numbers are going up. And they're saying with the holidays, Hanukkah, is I think tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. And with all the other holidays that are coming, cultural and religious holidays, those are opportunities for more infection of the virus. So we don't know what's happening, but it doesn't seem like earlier on, Father Joe was saying he was hoping that in January we might be able to move a little closer to having in-person events, but it does not seem to be something that will be able to happen.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just keep, listen to the news and here in the diocese, check your weekly updates. That's definitely a way to know what's happening on the diocesan level from the Vicar General, what they're planning or what they're thinking regarding in-person meetings again.
Okay, thank you very much. All right.
So I thank all of you for coming here, for joining us, and me and my colleagues. And it's very important I know we've said it, but to repeat it to you, all of you matter to us. We're so grateful for all that you're doing to help your programs continue during these difficult and unprecedented times. I know many of you are not even taking your days off, working through days off so that you can have your programs, go forward and help your catechists. So thank you.
Thank you.
And know that we're here to help you. Just be in touch. We're all available to you. You have my contact information. And try to join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Father Joe and Dr. Chizutko, so that we can get some updates from them. Okay? So have a blessed Advent. See you again. A blessed Christmas. And keep up the good work. God bless you all. Good to see you.
Thank you. You
Bye,
too.
everybody.
bye.
Take care.
Bye.